Welcome to the Working Women's Channel. My name is Clara Capano, and we're going to share the real secrets to success. Come on in. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Working Women Channel. My name is Clara Capano, and we are going to be diving into the expectations that we set for ourselves and how those can hold us back, and just going in deeper to what it means to step into our truth and be a true entrepreneur. And I am here with my guest, Christina. And before we dive any further, we got to talk about the boots. Look at these boots.
You know, they really are the star.
They really,
this morning.
next to Lulu.
Next to Lulu, I think the boots. But then I want to talk about your outfit. Like, I know we texted a little bit, but
got to coordinate.
All right, yeah, I'm here for it.
So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
It was an honor. I know that we met just a few months ago, and we connected really well, and I started sharing the ideas of the show, and you instantly were like, I want to be on there and I want to share my story.
Yeah, no, it's I'm so excited. I was watching some of the episodes last night, and I was like, oh, I feel so honored to be in this group of women that have these amazing stories and amazing messages, and I've been looking forward to this for a while, so thank you.
And that was again my vision is, on a global level, let's come together, let's start sharing our stories,
right.
Let's start sharing our openness so we can all become stronger.
Right, absolutely.
So we are here to talk about success, and we're here to talk about success as a woman in today's world. But we also know that it's not always easy to climb that ladder to success.
No, it's definitely not.
So I would love to hear from you. What was maybe a point in your life where things were not so successful and you had to kind of rewrite the script for yourself?
This morning at about 8:30, I was still in the car dropping my son off at school, knowing that I-25 was going to be what it was, getting up here. I think those little reminders every day of success is fluid, and it doesn't have this start and this end point. The biggest thing for me, and I look back of areas where I wasn't successful, I would definitely say, a divorce with a young baby, freshly into a new job, kind of just really struggling to find who I was as not only, a professional, but in my personal life. And really feeling like I was just failing, and in all of these aspects. And then, truth be told, not being sober at that point was definitely holding me back from things. But I think at that point, I really just didn't feel like I was succeeding anywhere. And that's a hard thing, I think as a mom, as a woman, as just a human, where I really couldn't check the box of one thing I felt I was doing well. Right. So that was definitely a big one.
I've been there. I remember just sitting on the floor, just crying because I was like, I can't do anything
ugly
right.
crying,
ugly crying,
like mascara down your face, crying. Yeah,
and just saying, what am I doing? I'm failing at everything, and just feeling so empty and lost. So now you mentioned that you went through sobriety over these times. So tell me a little bit about that.
So it's. I won't go too far into it just because it is, that's a whole nother topic. I got sober over a year ago, and thank you. It was one of those things where, everything was working until it wasn't. And I know that in my industry, it's kind of a big thing, happy hours and whatnot. Mine were never happy, and I definitely was noticing changes that were affecting my life. I was focused on when I could numb versus when I could feel. And I really I wasn't there. And a lot of people are like, oh, I had no idea, or, maybe you seemed a little bit off, and I guess that's good. But at the same time, I lived like that for a long time. And it finally hit a point where it wasn't working. And I knew that I had to change something or I was gonna lose everything. And I was not only going to lose my job, my son, I was just going to lose me. And not to be dramatic, but that's kind of the path that addiction will take you down. So, for me, I realized that without my sobriety, I don't have anything. So it is, the main kind of focal point of my life, because everything else comes from that. And, my son gets a better mom, my employer gets a better employee, my friends get somebody present, my boyfriend gets a girlfriend. I'm not just taking up space, I'm providing value in the world. So
I love that last statement. Again, not taking up space, but adding value. in all aspects. You know, and we were talking before filming that those are the things that really matter.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter so much if our kids have McDonald's or, you know, tenderloin. They just want mom there.
They just want mom. They just want love. And I think that's where, you know, you had mentioned this idea of expectations. And I don't know if it's us setting the expectations for ourselves, if it's society setting these expectations, but, you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You know, we need to stop competing with ourselves, because I look at women, you know, that I'm friends with, I look at you, and all I see is success. And I also know that there are internal struggles going on that we don't see. You know, you're not posting on social media like, wow, just about, you know, it burned everything in the oven and couldn't get my hair to curl and my son is throwing poop across the room. Like, no, we're not posting that.
That sounds like what, Tuesday? Huh?
That sounds like this morning, you know. But I think the biggest thing is just letting go of these expectations and being present, being mindful. And I know that I am my best self, not only professionally, but personally, when I'm just here. You know, I'm just doing what I need to do, and I'm prioritizing, you know, my health, my son's health, happiness, things like that. Everything else falls into place. And that's what matters, because I think, and maybe it's just women, maybe it's human, we compete with each other, and there's no need to, especially as women. Like, I think it's so important to lift each other up and show support and get real. Like, if we're having a bad day, let's talk about it, instead of, oh no, everything's fine.
I found the same thing when I started sharing my story of, you know, complete another breakdown. All these women were like, oh, you feel that too?
Yeah,
and it
I'm not
bonded us
alone.
together.
Yeah.
And, you know, that idea that we aren't alone, and let's start working together. I want to go back to this idea of numbing, because I think, you know, regardless of what our thing is, it could be food, it could be social media, it could be alcohol, it could be drugs, whatever it is, you know, we all go to these things as that release. And like you said, sometimes it works until it doesn't work.
Right.
So now that you are letting go of the unhealthy, what are some things you do though to fill you up?
I feel, truthfully, you know, and a lot of times I don't realize, you know, how much I wasn't feeling before. And yes, there are bad times. I have moments where I'm like, this is awful, everything's miserable. But with that, I also feel the really good things, you know, and I allow myself to go through the moment, whether it's good, bad, indifferent. And it really just creates this space of serenity and peacefulness, you know? And I know that as long as I'm staying true to myself and not fighting the feeling, because the more you fight a feeling, the worse it's gonna get. You know, I think we've all been there.
Gotta lean into it.
You gotta lean into it. You gotta ride that wave. And the nice thing about waves is they always hit shore and they always dissipate. Some are bigger, some are smaller, but they do always go away. So, you know, you ride that wave, good, bad, whatever. And it really is amazing how much things just sort of work out. Letting go of control. I'm a control freak by nature. I admittedly, it's not one of my strong points.
Well, it's a blessing and a curse, let's be honest.
It is.
It helps us to get success, but it can also be a downward spiral very
Absolutely.
easily.
And I think it's like everything in moderation, can be very healthy. But, you know, you kind of asked what else I'm filling with. Just life. You know, I do so much, and I get to experience things. And even if it's going to the park on a Thursday afternoon or riding through Moab on a motorcycle, you know, I just do life, and it's amazing.
That's
so
wonderful.
yeah.
I love it. Yeah, got to live our lives and, you know, show up to be present for them.
Absolutely.
To do that. I want to just ask for a moment, because I think sometimes when we decide to change, whatever that may look like for us, you know, maybe again, we want to go in a different direction in our life or get sober. Not everybody is on the happy train with us along for change.
Absolutely.
So talk to me a little bit about that, because I'm sure there were people who were trying to hold you back.
Oh yeah, where's the party girl? Where's the fun one? It's hard, because whether it's toxic or not, I had a relationship with that person, with that addiction. You know, it was part of my identity. And changing is scary, because I knew this. It was familiar. I could go to it. I could fall into it. Didn't have to work at it. I really had to create boundaries. And those are not easy for me. Saying no is not easy. I'm a people pleaser. I will fit in where I need to, put the hat on that I need to. But I think what I learned is the people that didn't want to get on board, unfortunately, just don't get to be a part of that journey. And that's not always easy to do. But the people that have gotten on board and have seen this change, and in my case, for the positive, are nothing but supportive. But change is scary.
And I think a big thing too is when we change, we can fear losing business.
Absolutely.
And we have to, I think, sometimes remember, yes, we may lose the wrong kind of business.
Right.
So talk to me a little bit about that and how that has shown up for you in your world.
Absolutely. I love what you just said. You know, it's something where I kind of had to take a step back and say, who do I want to work with? And it sounds selfish, but it's also productive. You know, like-minded people work well together. And there were certain people in my life that just weren't serving the role that they needed to anymore. And it's no hard feelings, it's nothing negative. That relationship had just run its course. And I have found that, again, setting those boundaries, being mindful of, you know, the people that I work with, have really set my business up for success now. I'm working with individuals that have the same goals, have the same passions, the same values that I do. And it isn't so much about the volume or how many I'm doing, it's the quality. And really feeling that human connection. And at the end of the day, you know, watching people get into their first home is so rewarding. And that's the focus. Not so much how many deals can I put through the pipe, but how well can I do each one?
Definitely. Now, this is a question I haven't really asked another guest, but I want to
Sure.
ask you this question.
Let's do it.
You know, I think because you like to check the boxes like I do.
I do. Yeah, I'm a box checker,
and
list
that
maker.
becomes, you know, a big trajectory for us.
Yeah.
And we get to a point where it changes and it's not about checking off the boxes. And we have to redefine success.
Right.
So for me, it is no longer about, did I get the contract? Did I get the client? Did I make money today? I ask myself, you know, did I show love today? Did I inspire today? And did I contribute positively to the world today? How do you sit back at the end of the day and qualify success? What is success for you?
I know that when I was younger, and some of this comes with age, maybe sobriety, all the things, success looked like money, deals, the house, the car. Is that important? Yeah, I'd be lying if I said that that wasn't still a little bit of a measure. I do have a mortgage to pay. But it really does look like providing value. And, you know, I wake up every morning. I know I'm probably not going to change the world. It's just, you know, I'm not Superwoman. But if I don't make it worse, that's success for me. You know, I look back at the last 365 days plus, it's the most quality life I've ever had.
That's amazing.
And yeah, you know, and with that, my business is thriving. My relationships are thriving. And I truly, you know, think it's because I've switched those priorities. And I say no, and I look for, you know, areas in my life that I can grow and change and get better without an expectation. Just acknowledging, yeah, I could have done better in that, and moving forward.
Yeah. And, you know, I think so many times it's, you know, it's easy to get through the day and we focus on, I didn't get it all done.
Right.
And really it's not a matter of did I get it all done? It's did I do my best?
Did I do my best?
Did I show up as the best version and did I deliver the best way that I possibly could?
Right.
And I think it's just, again, striving to be better today than you were yesterday and to look at the missteps and say, how can I improve next time?
Exactly, and learn from them. You know, I think that's a big thing that I talk about a lot with, you know, friends and people that I know is we create these lists, okay, to keep us on track. But then these lists end up controlling us and we feel like failures if we don't check everything off. Well, maybe don't put so much on your list. Like I have days.
Can you do that? Wow.
Oh, I know. It's crazy.
Some
Some days I have 2 things, some days I have 20. No, I mean, there are days where it's like feed my child, brush my teeth. Okay, today was a success. Mm-hmm. And that's all right. You know, everything that I need to do on a daily basis, I get done. Everything that I want to do doesn't always happen. And that's all right. I have the ability to move it to the next day. Or you know what? Say I don't need this. You know, what I thought was important at 7 a.m., at 3 p.m. no longer is a priority.
I think it would be very easy, you know, and people ask this all the time, if you could go back and change something. And I don't know if I necessarily believe that, because I think what happened to us brought us here today.
Absolutely.
So talk to me a little bit about that.
Everything that I've been through to date has created this path that I'm on now. The good, the bad, the very ugly. I wouldn't have been able to hit this rock bottom, to self-reflect, to redefine. I think I would have continued going through the motions, checking the boxes, but my life wouldn't have been authentic. I wouldn't be present. I wouldn't be sitting here having a conversation with you. I wouldn't change anything, and that's the honest truth.
One of my very favorite quotes is that our past should be a place of reference, not a place of residency.
Absolutely.
And again, that's what we have to do, is look at it and say, okay, let's reevaluate it, but start to look for the gifts in it.
Right.
And learning how we can then leverage those, again, to move us forward.
Right, and to give us some of that inspiration. I think we look back on hard times, and for me, it's a reminder, you made it through that. Mm-hmm. So you're having a little bit of a rough day today, look at what you've done in the past. And in the grand scheme of things, this is nothing. You're just having a bad hair day. But it's important that we do learn from them. I think it's one of those things, if you're continuing to make the same mistake, maybe you need to reevaluate. But it's absolutely, what do we do with it?
Yeah, fantastic. So when you are looking over everything, what would you say is the thing that you're most proud of?
Oh, boy. I mean, my sobriety. Without my sobriety, I don't have anything else. And that to me was the best life change I could have ever made. With that, I'm proud of being a mom and my son. I'm proud of where I'm at with work. I'm proud of my relationships, of just who I am as an individual. So making that change was definitely the highlight of my life. And seeing all of these things just start to happen with letting go of this one toxic relationship. I mean, in a nutshell, it would be that.
Well, I think it's so hard for women to sit back and say, you know what, I'm proud of myself.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we need to own it and say, you know what, we have been through a lot, regardless of what that looks
Absolutely.
like. And we need to start being proud of the journeys that we've had, the lessons, and how we've grown.
Absolutely. I was talking to a girlfriend last night, and she's going through some rough times. Again, we all are. We're all fighting battles that people know nothing about. And I said, to date, your track record of making it through the worst days is 100%. That's where you're at. And you should be, and we should be proud of that. And we should be proud of every morning that we wake up and say, okay, here we go. And it may not be pretty, and it may be rough, but being proud of continuing to move forward and wanting to be better and doing all of these things. Yeah, I mean, every day should be a proud day.
Definitely. So you're on your new journey that you started just over a year ago.
Yeah.
And it's just starting for you.
It is.
So much ahead.
Is.
So when you're thinking about your future, what's next for Christina?
A lot of things, life, everything. I've made a commitment to myself and to my recovery to stay very active in the community, and specifically with women that are working that, maybe have this fear or stigma around, needing help or needing support. And that's huge for me. So that's definitely something that I'm going to stay active in. I have started going on adventures. And I know that sounds so childish, but it's true. I go on an adventure. My boyfriend and I, he's amazing. We will go and just take trips and get on the motorcycle and go do things and just live every day. And you never know, you never know what's going to happen. And it's so cliche, but it's like, you got to live every day like it's your last. I've stayed very passionate about work and helping buyers and, explaining this crazy real estate market to them and getting them into their first home. Being with my son, watching him grow, he's starting to get interested in sports. But really, I'm going to do everything. I don't know. I get to make that choice now every single day.
I love that. Good. Well, you have just shared so many beautiful lessons and points with us. And I know that as our viewers watch this, some of them are going to want to reach out to you.
Yeah.
So what is the best way for someone to connect with you?
Call me, text me, anything. Yeah.
Do you want to leave your phone number out for everyone?
Absolutely. 303-638-8271.
I love it.
I'm an open book. I think part of helping women just in life is being open. Talk about it.
Definitely. I think talking about it is oftentimes the first step.
Absolutely. And you
everything
find in life we have so many more similarities than differences.
Yeah.
And it may look a little different and our paths to get there may have been different, but at the end of the day, you meet these people and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm dealing with that too. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
Wonderful. Well, any other last comments or last messages that you want to share with our viewers?
I would say for women out there, give yourself grace, give yourself kindness. We have this beautiful ability to show it to other people, and I think oftentimes we forget to show it to ourselves. That being perfect is an expectation that we should never have because we're perfect just as we are. Stop comparing. We are all out there doing our best every single day. And if you need help, if you need support, just reach out. Once I put my hand out, I found that the entire world opened up. And, just love yourself. That's all it comes down to. Yeah.
Well, Christina, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
It has been
Thank you.
Just such a joy to meet you and get connected with you because you just share so much of the same vision. And I know that we are two women, in addition to all the other women that we've had on the show and that we interact with. It's all about moving all of us forward
Absolutely.
and creating this global movement of support. So I just wanted to thank you for showing up today authentically and for sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So viewers, thank you so much for joining us today for our episode. I hope you found value. We covered messages of showing up authentically, being completely present in your life, and being proud of your journey. So thank you for watching, and remember you can watch this episode, all the episodes, and get all of your clarity on www.claracapano.com.